and where we are now. And so I'm excited to share this story with you. Many of you, you've seen LifeZone TV around, especially those of you in New York City. You may not know too much about it and how we started, what it's all about and all that stuff. And I'm excited to share the journey, the story with you today. All right, so get ready for this. It's going to be an exciting time as I share with you about the Live Zone TV journey. So, from vision to impact, the Live Zone TV journey. That's what I want to share with you right now. Well, like I said before, Live Zone TV launched on May 3rd, 2010. May 3rd, 2010. But prior to that, what led to even starting it, right? I remember many, many years ago that I had the opportunity to appear on a show, to be interviewed on a show in Brooklyn, New York. I remember there was one local TV station in Brooklyn, New York, and I got the opportunity to talk about motivational things. And I think, from that time on, I always had it in me that I will be on TV, right? That I will be interviewed on TV, that kind of a thing. Or that I will have a show on TV, not a TV station, but a show on TV. So I've always had that in mind that, okay, one day I'm going to have a show on TV. Now, so how did it go now from a show to a TV station? So I'm going to tell you that story. All right. I remember there was a time I took a trip. It was like a family trip where a group of families came together. And I remember I was in that trip and we rented a bus. And so we drove that bus. We took turns driving the bus and we drove that bus to Florida. And I remember that while in the bus, it wasn't my turn to drive and somebody else was driving. I remember I was thinking about my life and I was thinking about, what could I do? What else could I do with my life? At that time I was broke, I had nothing really much going on. And so I was thinking about it. Then I decided to come up with a list of what I knew how to do. What is it that I know how to do, right? So I started writing things down. By the time I finished writing, I had come up with about 90 things, literally, right? Even the simplest things that you think is nothing. Anyway, I came up with about 90 things. So when I came back from Florida, I said to myself, okay, now I need the world to know that I know how to do 90 things, right? So I decided to go to Home Depot and I got a 4x8 plywood. Is that what they call it? So this board, yeah, I think it's called plywood. So 4x8 plywood. So I got a sign designed for me. So I put this banner on the 4x8 plywood, right? So I categorized all the things I knew how to do. I couldn't fit in all 90 things, but major things, I put them under different categories, right? And I created this sign and I put it by my house. So I happen to have a corner property, so there's a kind of land on the property that faces the street, so that if you're taking the bus or if you're driving, you'll be seeing the sign. So I put the sign there, right, by my house on my yard, so that as people are driving by or people are walking by, they can see that I did these things. And then there's a phone number to call so that they can, patronize me. So that was the sign I placed there. On that sign, right, it's one of the things listed on that sign was web development, website development. So I had a website development background, right? I used to work for Martha Stewart. I used to work for agency.com. I used to work for Compaq. I used to do some web development work back in the day. So anyway, so a guy drove by, he saw my sign and he saw web development. So he caught his attention. So he called me and he said, I saw your sign and I would like to meet with you. So I went to see him on Guy Brewer here in Queens, New York. He had an office on Guy Brewer. I went to see him there. And so he discussed with me that can we trade by barter? So he asked me, can you redesign or design a website for me? and I will allow you to, have your ad on my newspaper. So he was a newspaper publisher. So this guy, and I've seen his newspaper around. Sometimes you go to the post office, you see his newspaper in the post office, at stores, different places. And so he asked if we can barter. And I said, no problem. We could do that. So while I was still there with him and, my flyer was there, he looked again and he said, oh, I see you have video production on your flyer. Now, at that time, that was probably the only skill that I didn't have. But a friend of mine who had that skill, I decided, okay, I'm going to put it on there so that if somebody calls me for that, I'll give my friend that job to do. I'll make some little money out of it. So when he said, oh, I see video production, and then he said to me, I own some TV channels. I said, oh, really? So he proceeded to showing me those TV channels. He owned 5 TV channels. So there was a cable box, and then he started showing me, right? Channel, the first channel, second channel. Anyway, so he showed me 5 of them. One of them, he called it Praise Ye TV. Praise Ye TV. So that was supposed to be like a Christian channel. So I decided to ask him more about it. But I noticed as he showed me the Praise Ye TV, it was psychics that were, they were doing their thing. And, people selling oil and all kinds of stuff on that channel. And that was supposed to be a Christian channel. So I said, I said, I could partner with you in helping you develop a proper Christian channel that I know pastors, and, as a pastor myself, I could help you. So he said, okay, fine. So we decided that, what, for helping him, whoever I brought and all that stuff, he will give me 30%, right? 30% of whatever it costs. So we said, okay, no problem. I said, we need to draw a contract. So he said, I could go ahead and draw the contract. So I drew the contract and I put in that contract, right? Because this is a Christian channel. So I put in the contract, there will be no more psychics, no alcohol and any kind of thing that I felt like would not be proper on a Christian channel, right? I said none of those things, no advertisement from those people selling any of those things will be on this channel. It's going to be a new channel, basically, right? A real Christian channel. Now, mind you, this guy was not saved, right? But he decided to have a channel for churches, right? But, because I guess he didn't know churches, so he was putting psychics there, right? So when I sent him the contract and I said, I could help you, yes, but these are the conditions. He called me and he said, Femi, you are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. I can never agree to such a thing. So he wasn't going to agree with me, right? Not to have psychics on this channel, not to, promote alcohol and other things like that on the channel. So he said, no, Femi, I'm not agreeing to this. So at that point, it's like I heard a voice, you don't need him. Why bother with him? Why do it with him? You can have your own. So that was the thoughts that came to me. Then I decided, so when he was showing me the channels, he showed me the box, and it was world cable box, right? So at that point, I decided, you know what? I don't need him. I'm going to approach world cable myself, and I'm going to tell them about wanting to have a Christian channel. And I remember I Googled world cable, went to look for them, and found them, went to their office. They were in Lake Success at that time in Long Island. I went there, sat with the general manager of World Cable, told them what I intended to do, that I wanted to have a Christian channel, right? I noticed that they had about 8 Islamic channel, and their only so-called Christian channel was this Praise Ye TV that the psychics are dominating, right? So now I want to have the real Christian channel. So I'm telling them this, that I want to have a channel. So I remember the general manager of World Cable asked me a question. Do you have $50,000? I didn't have $1,000, talk less of $50,000. So forget that. I didn't have that. So he asked me, did you go to school for journalism? I said, no. I didn't go to school for journalism or anything like that. So he said, forget it. We're not going to bother with you. So he rejected me. So, but I was now burning with a passion to own a TV station, a passion to start my own Christian channel, right? And I remember in those days, while this was going on, I was also doing a part-time job at night throwing newspapers. I was throwing newspapers. For those of you who have ever done that kind of job before, I would throw newspapers to houses. So, and I remember as I would drive around, I'm thinking about this new TV channel that I'm going to start. And I'm thinking all kinds of things, and it's getting me all excited. Like, yes, we're going to start a TV station, that kind of a thing. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to World Cable, and I'm going to tell them that, give me a chance. Let me start this thing. I can do this. I know I don't have money. And I know I didn't go to school for journalism, but I believe that this is right for me. I believe I'm equipped for this, right? I went back. They said no. I went back again. They said no. I keep calling and I keep going back. For 8 months, I kept going back and I kept calling. Finally, after 8 months of disturbing them and harassing them, not harass, but I kept going. After 8 months of doing that, they agreed. They said, okay, fine, we'll give you a chance. After 8 months. And I remember, so they said, well, since you don't even have money and you don't have, nothing, so what they're going to do is that they have an old encoder that they were not using, and they were going to bring that encoder to my house, because that's where I was going to start from. So there was a space in my basement, a small room, 5x8 room in my basement. So that's where I was going to start this TV channel. So they asked me, well, get internet, make sure you get like a Verizon Fios. They told me the specification. I called Verizon Fios. I made sure to have that internet there. So the guy brought this encoder. He set it up for me. He set it up in such a way that from that encoder, whatever you feed the encoder goes to channel 712 on World Cable. And so they set it up. So now I just need to feed it. So I'm like, okay, fine. We got to get started now. We got to really get started. So I called some of my friends who I know are in ministry. And I said, hey, now I'm going to start a TV station. I need videos. None of my friends had videos. None of them had videos, and none of them knew even how to put a video together. So I was forced to have to now start reaching out to major ministries. So I started reaching out to major ministries. Hey, I'm going to start this new station. So I chose the date, and I said, this is the launch date, right? Whatever I could get by that launch date, I'm going to get started. So I started reaching out to the major ministers of the gospel, the national, international ministries about this new TV channel, LifeZone TV. And so they started responding one by one. By my launch date of May 3rd, 2010, I had gotten response from Charles Stanley. They had sent me their videos. Sid Roth had sent me their videos, a couple more. And I remember getting some African movies too, So day one, we launched with about 4 programs. Now, here's the funny thing. Talking about humble beginning, let me tell you humble beginning. I don't think it gets any humbler than this. Talk about humble beginning. Oh, my God. Do you know that in order for me to feed that encoder, so there are wires, about 3 wires, yellow, red, white, right? So I needed to feed it. So whatever I submit to it is what goes to World Cable. So I didn't have money to really buy proper equipment or anything. You know what I did? I went to, what do you call that place now? Anyway, the place where they sell, it's not Best Buy, but some other place. It's right on Linden Boulevard anyway, but I can't remember the name. It starts with a P. They sell equipment, right? So I went there and I got 3 DVD players. 3 DVD players. Then I got a switcher. Now, that's not how you do a TV station, but that's how I did mine. I got a switcher. So the idea I came up with is this. So from the DVD player, I will connect a wire to the encoder so that something will be going to the encoder, right? And it will be showing up on channel 712. And then the switchers, so I connected the 3, DVD player. So you have a switcher. I connect them to a switcher so I can switch. So if this DVD player stops playing, whatever it's playing, then I switch it to the next. And then I switch it to the next. So can you imagine? That is how LifeZone TV started. So May 3rd, 2010, it was DVD players that was playing the DVDs they sent to me, right? And I'll just play one, switch it to the next, and switch it to the next, and keep switching it. Now, how can one person be running something like that? That's a lot, right? So, and I remember in those early days that I got a couple of guys who came to intern with me. So, shout out to Al Walker and Dane Wilson. So, those 2 people, they came on board with me in the basement, right? So, they will take turns. Dane will be coming from school. Al will be coming from wherever, so they took turns to help me out. So, now, while that was going on, we're switching from DVD to DVD. I hit the road. I started going to pastors. I started telling them about this new TV channel. And there were days when I went to show pastors about this new TV channel. And so when we started on wall cable, and I realized that, okay, I cannot be taking a cable box around with me. I also needed this to go online. So I told them that, please, connect me online. So they set it up. They gave me a code and all that stuff for our website so that people can watch on the website, right? So it actually started on the cable first, and then we added the website, almost immediately. So when I would go to pastors and I would show them the website, there were days that either Dane or Al Walker, they forgot, they were not paying attention. The program that was playing has finished playing. Now, a DVD logo is dancing around on the screen because, the program is finished. And if it was a movie playing, it was finished. So, and can you imagine, I'm showing somebody and I'm seeing DVD dancing around. It was such a humble beginning. And I have to call them in the office and say, hey, the office was my basement. And I was telling them, hey, play the next, play the next show. Wow, what a humble beginning. But that's how we started. Remember I told you that I reached out to my friends and most of them didn't have any videos and, they know how to record a video or whatever. But one person responded. So shout out to, at that time she was minister, but now she's a pastor, Pastor Mary Daniels. So Pastor Mary Daniels, outside of the national people, was the first person locally to respond to the call. And she decided, okay, she was going to start recording videos. So she hired somebody who was recording her. Eventually, when we had a studio, she came and recorded at our studio. But she started, a program on LifeZone TV. Wow. What a humble beginning. So this whole thing started at the basement of my house, a 5x8 space, right? And then eventually, when Dane Wilson came on board as an intern, so she said, you know what, there's a better way, Pastor Femi, there's a better way. It's not this DVD. No, let's go from DVD. So then we started using Media Shout, right? So he knew about Media Shout. We figured a way to sort of, change or switch from DVD to Media Shout. Now, all this still were not the proper way of doing these things, but that's what we could do. That's what we knew how to do. We just needed to feed this encoder so that channel 712 could be playing, right? And so Dane was able to use his technical know-how to get us to the next level, right? As far as how we submitted the videos to the encoder. Wow. What a humble beginning. When you talk about humble beginning, it's a really serious humble beginning. All right, moving on. Then somewhere in between those few months, I got a call. I got a call from a pastor in Maryland who had, heard that I started a TV station. And so he had a visiting minister from Nigeria she had a visiting minister from Nigeria, and she called me and connected me with the visiting minister because, this is a man who was traveling the world and doing crusades. And so she told him about me, and so we talked. And so I tried to sell airtime to him. So he said, you know what? I'm not in a position to buy airtime right now. I've just bought some mega equipment for crusades around the world, and I'm just not in that place right now. So I said, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll give you some airtime, maybe like 3 months airtime or something. I'll give that to you. So he said, oh, wow, thank you. So he appreciated that. So then he went back to Nigeria after his trip to the US. While in Nigeria, and I remember that particular week, or maybe a week before, I was holding a prayer meeting somewhere, and I remember a prayer that God gave me to lead the people to pray. And that was that whoever needs to remember me should remember me. And it was after that prayer I got that call. So I got a call from him from Nigeria, and he said, hey, Pastor Femi, I just told a major pastor in Nigeria. He has a church of 50,000 members, 50,000 people that attends the church every Sunday. I just told him about you, and he's interested in coming on LifeZone TV. I said, wow, that's amazing. So within 2 weeks, literally, so he connected me with the person. We talked on the phone, and within 2 weeks, and they decided that they were going to come on every day. Every single day, they were going to come on from Nigeria. So what they did was they sent their programs to the US, right? They sent it through DVD in those days to the US, and within 2 weeks' time, close to $50,000 was wired into my account. Remember, this is a new TV station that's been running for months. And so now we got this kind of money. My God. So that allowed us to leave the basement and get a place rented for our studio. So when we started, we didn't have any cameras. We just found a way to play people's programs so that it can air on wall cable and online. We didn't have any cameras. But now that close to $50,000 was wired into my account, so now we could properly set up. So that was when we got our first studio. For those of you who might have been to our first studio before, that's how we got there, right? We got our first studio, bought cameras, set up, bought chairs, just whatever we needed to set up. So we were now properly in business, right? Wow. After a very humble beginning, that was how we moved to our first studio. Now, there are people who have joined along, right? Who have come along, the way to help us. In those beginning stages, we had Marlon Nichols. Shout out to him. And at that time also, Joanne Nichols. Shout out to Joanne, wherever you are, if you're watching. And then their daughter, Nakisha Nichols, also was helpful to us. So with the logo design, with the brochures, right? It was this family really that took care of those kind of stuff, right? Editing the show, recording shows and stuff, right? Between the three of them, they did, logo, brochures, recording and editing and stuff like that. And then in those early days too, we had Tiffany Knowles, who helped with our voiceover. So if you ever watch LifeZone TV and you hear our commercials running, well, guess what? That's the voice of Tiffany Knowles. So all that was happening in the early years, and then eventually I decided that I wanted to let pastors know about this, and so we started Pastors Appreciation. So we'll have a launching. So we had our first launching at the Starlight Pavilion, where Pastor Matt is the pastor of the church there, New Havens Ministry. So we used the place, for this first event, right, where we brought pastors together. We educate pastors about this new TV station. We fed them and all that stuff. And so we've been doing Pastors Appreciation ever since. We're going to be doing one this year. So if you're a pastor, stay tuned, attend our Pastors Appreciation. And then after that, we decided to start the Hallelujah Hour. I got the concept of Hallelujah Hour. And, so we got hosts, right? So then Minister Emanuela Young, now Pastor Emanuela Young, was one of our first hosts. We have Tiffany Knowles as one of our first hosts as well. We have overseer Jason Hendrickson, right, from our first studio. We have Pastor Sheldon Evans, right? So they were our hosts, right? So we got them hosting for us, and then during that time too, Pastor Emmanuel Young started helping with our designs and our looks and making sure we look good and everything. And Terrell Young also became a technical person who helped us when it comes to technical stuff, right? Whether the camera is looking right or the audio, video, everything. So shout out to all of you that I've mentioned your name. During those days too, we started having some contacts, just as a way of spreading the word and getting more people buying into and believing in and getting to know LifeZone TV. I remember Nicole, Tiffany knows setting up a few events like that, contests and stuff like that. And of course, you don't run a TV station like this without partnership, right? Partnerships, different partnerships over the years. We've partnered with different people to do different things to make LifeZone TV what it is today. I remember a notable client, though, that came on board. I got this call from this lady, and she asked about airtime, how much it is, and all that stuff. Now, I'm used to people sometimes calling for airtime, asking about airtime, and then not really committing to doing anything. So, I was just thinking, okay, maybe this is one of those, right? But she called back maybe 2 weeks later and said, hey, write this date down. I need you on this date. And she didn't want to come to our studio. She wanted us to bring our studio to her. I was like, wow, this lady's not playing around. So anyway, we went to her, and they had this whole thing going, right? The name of the show is Speak Out, Declare Your Day, right, with Miss Tisha. So we started recording that, and it was this particular client, I would say, is so notable for us because not only did they contract us to do so many things for them, which was financially beneficial to the TV station, but also they put ads on Oprah Winfrey show, right? Oprah Winfrey Network, on Tyler Perry show, announcing to people and letting people know to watch their show on LifeZone TV. And I remember people calling me saying, hey, Pastor Femi, I saw LifeZone TV on Tyler Perry show. I saw LifeZone TV on Oprah Winfrey Network. I'm like, really? So she spent so much money promoting our show on LifeZone TV and automatically promoting LifeZone TV. So we're getting all this traffic. We're getting all this attention. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, right? So just giving you some the journey, the LifeZone TV journey. And then later on, we expanded our hosts. So we had Pastor Tanya Williams join us, right? She had been interviewed for an upcoming program at that time. And then I asked, for her to join us. She graciously joined us and spent several years with us hosting, right? LifeZone TV show called Hallelujah Hour. And then we got Pastor Clay Johnson, now Pastor Clay Johnson, who also started hosting for us. Some of you who have been guests on LifeZone TV, you've come through any of this hosts, whether it's Pastor Jason Hendrickson or Pastor Emmanuel Young or Pastor Sheldon, or you've come through Tiffany Knowles, or you've come through Pastor Tanya Williams or Pastor Clay Johnson, you've come through, these people. But then we had some other people joining, which I'll mention their names momentarily. But we also had, so these are like more of our full-time hosts, right? The people I've mentioned their names, they became like full-time hosts. But then we've also had guest hosts over the years. So people who would just come in and host a show or two for us, right? So such as Pastor Victor Adedokun, he hosted a show. Pastor Jerry Robinson, right? She's hosted a couple of shows. I think she's an Apostle Jerry Robinson. I want to say it the right way. And then we've had Pastor David Wright. We've had Toy Gilliam. We've had Dr. Marina McLean. And I might be missing a name or two of guest hosts that I've hosted for us. But we've had some guest hosts over the years, and then we now added more hosts, right? And presently, these hosts are currently hosting for us. We have Prophetess Tasha Bastin, and we also have Apostle Patricia Wiley, right? They've been hosting for us. So, I mean, it's been a long journey. There's a lot, that has taken place. There's a lot to LifeZone TV. And I'm not going to be able to share everything tonight, but just wanted to share a few things with you. We've had some long-lasting programmers, right? These were people who came on board and they stayed with us for many years. Many, many, many years, right? There are people who came on board, maybe they bought airtime, maybe for a few months, maybe for a year, but this one stayed with us for many years. Pastor Abraham Obadari, Evangelist Heather Lashley, Dr. Marina McLean. I mean, for many years. I'm talking about like 10 years. Amazingly, some of these people were just there and they just believe in the vision, and they've just really helped to keep it going. We've also covered some road events, right? Some events that were not at the studio, at our studio, but we go on the road, and we are looking to do more road events this year. So if you have any road events, any event at your church that's of interest, that could be of interest to LifeZone TV, let us know. We'll be glad to cover it. So we've covered Worship His Majesty. I remember covering the prayer conference by Bishop Antoine White at Zion Cathedral. We've covered the rescue mission, annual Thanksgiving banquet. We've covered several WMCA Pastors Appreciation launchings and events. We've covered the Stellar Awards. Pastor Emmanuel Young has represented us, interviewing people at the Stellar Awards. We've covered the RCCG, Redeemed Christian Church of God conventions, and many other events that we've covered on the road. And of course, we've interviewed major people. Major people have been interviewed on LifeZone TV. Noel Jones, Bishop Bloomer, Maurice Cerullo, Mike Murdoch, Judy Jacobs, and many more, right? And, I don't have all the names in front of me, but so many notable people. And then our hosts have also interviewed several notable guests. We've had Naomi Rain, right, here with us at the studio. I know Pastor Emmanuel Young brought her one time. Pastor Clay brought her another time. And our hosts have brought all kinds of prominent people in New York City, right? Especially, they've been here. They've sat at the chairs of LifeZone TV, right? They've been interviewed at LifeZone TV. We also thank God for recognitions over the years, different types of awards, whether it's from, ministries or awards from, senators or assembly people, and many more like that. We've received several awards. To God be the glory for that. We've also been part of NLB for many years, and particularly for me, I was elected as part of the TV advisory board for the NLB. NLB is the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, or Broadcasters. National Religious Broadcasters. They have a convention every year. So I was at the convention earlier. Some of you might have seen those pictures. So I was elected to be part of the TV advisory board. And it's such an honor. I'm the only black person in that group right now, right? And I thank God that, my commitment to this over the years has led to being elected for such a prestigious position. Then, of course, we are on several platforms now. We're on Roku. So Roku now has grown. Roku reaches over 85 million households. So LifeZone TV potentially can be watched in over 85 million households. We're on Google TV. We are, of course, online 24/7 from day one, or from week one, so to speak. And we've been online ever since. You can watch us on your mobile devices. We started on World Cable, expanded to several ones. Aleta Cable Action, Hispanic Gospel Network, TV Afrique, that reaches African people. So different platforms, and we're looking to expand that this year so that whenever you are broadcasting your program on LifeZone TV, you're reaching people that ordinarily you will not reach, right? So that's the difference between being on LifeZone TV and you doing Facebook Live. So while you may reach your people who know you on Facebook Live and all that stuff, but being on a LifeZone TV, you're now reaching communities. You're reaching. At one point, we were on satellite. We're not currently on satellite, but at one point we were on Amos 5 satellite that reaches sub-Sahara Africa, right? So that people literally in Africa, those who lived in Africa, watched LifeZone TV. We are hoping to get back on satellite soon. And then we've, of course, had many programmers over the years. I mean, just go to livezonetv.com and click on programs to see a list of the various programs that is as run or currently running on LifeZone TV, whether it's Benny Hinn, Charles Stanley, Jack Van Impe, when he was alive, Jesse Franklin. I mean, the list goes on. Michael Youssef, all kinds of shows, right? We've also partnered with various ministries who are into movies like Parable TV to show their movies, and some other movie production companies to show movies on LifeZone TV. We have Way of the Master, Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort, running their show, The Rev. I mean, the list goes on. Just go to the website. I'm actually looking at the website and reading from the website. So some of the various programs that are running on LifeZone TV. Now, those of you who watch Hallelujah Hour, oftentimes you are watching one of our hosts, right? Hosting Hallelujah Hour. But LifeZone TV is not just a Hallelujah Hour. Hallelujah Hour is just a show on LifeZone TV. LifeZone TV is 24/7. We are running 24/7. So if you go on your Roku right now, you're going to find us there 24/7, right? So I wanted to give you a little bit about LifeZone TV, about the journey, where we've been, how it's been, and I hope you've been inspired. We started in a very humble place, and God has helped us. 15 years later, we are here. And guess what? This is just the beginning. I'm believing God for expansion. We just upgraded some of our equipment. We're about to, transfer into a different system to help with this expansion. We want to expand, want to get on other platforms as well. So the idea for any TV station is that you don't just stop with one. You get on as many platforms as possible in many countries, so that what is airing on LifeZone TV, people are watching it locally in their countries. They're watching it on their satellite. They're watching it everywhere, right? That's our goal. That's our vision. And we are constantly working on that. That's why we secured some equipment this week. So we're about to, transition into that new equipment to allow for that expansion as we reach out to various other platforms to have LifeZone TV channels showing 24/7 on all those different platforms. If you're watching, maybe you've been inspired, maybe you have a content idea, maybe you have a program that you'd like to put on LifeZone TV, reach out to us, right? LifeZoneTV.com, LifeZoneTV.com, 855-454. Sorry, I'm giving you a wrong phone number. 877-752-7169. 877-752-7169. But you can get that information on the website. So LifeZoneTV.com, and you'll be able to reach out to us, right? If you have a ministry, you want to get your content on TV, reach out to us, right? And if you're listening and maybe God has given you a vision, something to do, no matter how small it is, though the beginning may be small, right? The latter end will increase. So don't look at how small it's starting. Keep to that vision. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the Lord is going to supply, so that vision can become a reality and it can expand. Start somewhere, right? And expand it to where God really wants you to get it to. But there is something about starting from where you are. Start somewhere, right? You don't need to have everything to get started. Just start, and then it will get there. You've heard our story. I mean, it doesn't get any humbler than that, right? But the Lord has helped us to the point where we are now. Praise God. And if you are listening and you are saying, you know what, I want to support, I want to get behind, wow, 15 years, right? You want to get behind us, you want to support us, go to our website, click on the donate button, right? Click on there, donate something to say happy anniversary, happy 15-year anniversary. Here's a donation for you. We'll be glad to receive a donation to help us to continue to expand what God has committed into our hands. I want to say a special thank you to those of you who watch us, whether you watch us 24/7, you watch us during the Hallelujah Hour show. Some of you have been a guest here in the building. You've joined us live in the building. You've been part of the live show guests, right? You've joined us as the studio audience. Thank you for joining us. Those of you who have worked with us over the years, those of you who have supported us, I might have forgotten a name or two. If I forgot your name, please don't take it personal. I recognize what you've done, how helpful you've been. Those of you who have even supported our pastor events, right? We have pastor appreciation events, and you've sponsored. Thank you for that. Those of you who have watched, those of you who have told friends, however you've helped, right? All our hosts, right? And you know, our doors are open. We want all New York City to be inside the studio. Yes. We want all of New York City, all the pastors in New York City, come, come, all the gospel pastors, come to our studio, come and, be interviewed, come and put your show on LifeZone TV, right? This is for you. I don't need 24/7 for me. It's not for me. It's for you. It is for you, right? So our doors are open for you. You have ideas. Feel free to reach out to us and see how we can work together, how we can partner together. It's taking partnerships over the years. That's how we've stayed here for 15 years. It is not me. It is you. The reality is that it is you who kept it going. All my hosts, it is you guys. Because if you didn't bring the guests, if you didn't host the shows, there'll be no Hallelujah Hour that gets, people watching and all that stuff. And if those of you have bought airtime, never bought airtime, even if it was just for 1 month, right? Your contribution was helpful. And I hope for those of you who have maybe taken a break in the past, for whatever reason, that you come back on board. We are expanding and we are getting better. So even if, for whatever reason, whatever your reason may be, even if it's finances, we'll find a way to work with you, but get back on board. Let's build LifeZone TV, even beyond where God has helped us to build it, right? So that lives can be transformed. The gospel can continue to go to the ends of the earth, right? Let's work together. And I want to say congratulations to all of you who have been a part of this family. I want to say congratulations to you too. It's not just to me, but to you too. You made it happen, and I really appreciate you. I want to say thank you to those of you who have watched this. You've at least learned a thing or two about the LifeZone TV journey. Please share this with other people, inspire somebody with this, and encourage somebody with this. And also tell a pastor, tell a minister of the gospel, tell somebody who has content ideas, tell them to come on board. Tell them to reach out to LifeZone TV. Some of the people who started on LifeZone TV have become great today. It's amazing. You look at Naomi Rain. She was here with us, before she ended up, she's a household name now, right? And several other people like that. And our host can tell you, people they've brought here and have just exploded. I know authors who've come here and people started buying their books. I mean, it's amazing, right? It's amazing. So I want to say thank you to you one more time and keep on supporting us. Happy anniversary. Happy 15-year anniversary, LifeZone TV. Thank you for watching.